this film was made by me, Catherine Graham, who's also here, and Katie Dunn, who I think she's in Cyprus right now. She couldn't be here, but we all made this. We're studying animation here in Bristol at the University of West England. So this was part of a project at the school, and we had never actually met before making this film, and we couldn't meet while we were making the film because of the lockdown. So we only met in person like months afterwards. So there was that as kind of a constraint on making it. And then also the film had to be exactly a minute long. So there was a couple of things that we were working around. And it also we were given the title and had to kind of match everything around the title. So the title Galumph made us think about this sort of idea of making walk cycles, but then wanting to keep it as abstract as possible. And then the fact that we couldn't actually be together in person working on it, we had to come up with a way of kind of coming up with a simple step-by-step process of sort of passing animation back and forth to like build it up that way. And so the way that the film is animated is we would animate these circles kind of moving around, sort of like Norman McLaren style, just like shapes moving about, and then connect them with kind of rigid lines, and then connect those with, kind of lines that maybe look more like musculature or something. So what were just abstract shapes moving around kind of start to look like these things that are walking and affected by gravity. So yeah, we just sort of passed animation back and forth like that, and then cut it together. And at the end, I made this soundtrack, and I kind of tried a few things and ended up using these sort of like jazzy drum sounds, which I think kind of pushed this like rubber hose animation era thing a little bit. And then just adding kind of synthesizer tones and stuff. But I kept the soundtrack sort of percussive and just sort of meeting the beats of these sort of like abstract walk cycles without getting too melodic or anything like that. Maybe that would have been cool if we had all like animated one part of one creature, but no, we each animated kind of our own creatures and then stuck them together afterwards. And then we all kind of made textures and stuff, which we ended up adding to this sort of spacey looking background. But I guess, yeah. Well, we all kind of come up, like Catherine came up with a lot of the color palette and stuff like that, and we were all kind of coming up with ideas. And then we together came up with this sort of step-by-step process of putting these things together, but we all just kind of went off on our own and made a bunch of things and then stuck them together. And a couple of the creatures that I worked on didn't end up making it into the final film since it had to be a minute long, but we all just kind of went off, made things, checked back a little bit to make sure we were on the same page, but then we just kind of stuck them together at the end.